Well, it's 6:30, so we're gonna get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think we need 2 more to have a quorum, right? 6 to 4 quorum?
Correct.
6 for a quorum, so we have some things that we don't need a quorum for, so there we go. We have 5. We'll begin with fire department.
Okay.
That's first. Where's your marks go?
They're outside.
Oh,
So we don't crowd the
They
room.
abandoned you?
I was like, there's not much going now, there's only one.
Good evening, thanks for having me. Captain Darren Mullen, Wichita Fire Department, Fire Station number 13, up on Meridian and 235. For the departmental report from the Wichita Fire Department tonight, some of the numbers we've got from the December structure fires. Citywide, we had 11 structure fires that were investigated, totaling $323,500 in damage. For District 6 specifically, there were 2 structure fires, both of them accidental causes, for about $63,000 in damage. So, all told, in my opinion, not a bad month.
Unless you're one of those fires.
Unless you're one of those 2, yes, correct. Wichita Fire Department news of note. 2022, we're looking at acquiring 6 new substantial vehicles for the department. 2 of which will be brush trucks for outlying areas, specifically north up here. We might, fingers crossed, get one, be a big help to us up there along the river. And then tentatively, for the first quarter of the year, we're looking at starting a new recruit academy, maybe if all the stars align, the end of January. And then lastly, just safety, fire safety, we'd like to pass along to the community. With the winter weather, cold weather coming on, we'd like to emphasize home heating safety. December, January, February nationally is the leading cause for home fire deaths in the United States. And that's typically due to home heating equipment, portable heaters, space heaters, that sort of thing. Department, we'd like to implore the community, keep combustibles away from those portable heaters, space heaters, from about at least 3 feet in distance. Before you go to bed at night, if you're leaving the room, leave the house, turn those off. You unplug them and have them serviced and inspected if there's a problem with professionals. So that's what I've got tonight. Is there any questions? Yes, sir.
Got a couple of them.
Okay.
Number of openings that you expect to fill through the training?
I don't have.
So you don't
any
have how
information.
many spots you guys?
No, I don't.
Okay, all right,
I
that's
don't,
fair.
yeah. I
Um,
can find that out for you.
I'm just curious.
Okay.
And whether it's.
I'm curious too.
Okay, well, the second part B of the question, I guess, is
Uh-huh.
are those openings from attrition or are they expansion of force? Or both?
Without speaking out of turn, my guess is attrition.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right. All right, thank you.
Thanks so much. All right, police.
I was
Sorry.
hoping you'd have Kate do it so I could pick on it.
I just realized I was a senior officer here, so I've been here that long. And I'm Darren Williams, Patrol West Community Policing, 15 beat. Been on the department for 17 years.
Congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. First and foremost, had a homicide just the other day over at 27th and Amidon. Can't give any details about everything right now, but the individual was taken into custody who was the suspect in that case. I think it was like 2 blocks away, so that was a good thing. In the month of December, we had our WPD for shelters, where we actually got 350 kids, at least 4 to 5 gifts apiece for Christmas that are located in domestic violence shelters. And those are shelters within oh my gosh, now I'm blanking. Through Harbor House and the Wichita Family Crisis, yeah. And then we also do stuff for Stepstone. But yeah, like I said, we ended up getting 350 kids, 4 to 5 gifts apiece, and that's spread all throughout Wichita. On top of that, I was in a conversation with the Wichita Police Foundation, And I told them the flaw in my system of how getting gifts for kids. And I said the biggest problem is that we can't get gifts for kids all year. So we talked about it, and now we have a program that's actually going to start that's called Cops Care for Kids, which is a good thing. So we are going to try and get gifts for kids, you know, whether we need it for Christmas, whether we need it for birthdays and stuff like that, just so that we're not doing it for this one time. Because there's all the times where you see kids who don't get anything for a birthday. Otherwise, that being said, we also have Second Chance Thursdays, which is set to resume in February. Second Chance Thursday is a program that I thought of that actually helps out with traffic warrants and small minor warrants to be able to allow you to pay on them without having to go to jail in the process. So that's something that we have unique here in Wichita that nobody else has around. So pretty good deal. We haven't got a date set for that yet, but as far as our numbers, we hope to outdo the numbers that we did last year. We hope that we're getting the trust and everything else that we're with all the citizens in Wichita, that they can come there and know that they're not going to be arrested unless they have a felony. There's nothing we can do about that. So other than that, does anyone have any questions for me?
The Second Chance Thursday seems like it's been wildly successful. Have you heard from any other cities around the country that want to implement something similar?
You know, honestly, this was actually all an accident.
Yeah.
You know, I had said, hey, why don't we do this on Thursdays and call it Second Chance Thursdays? And then all of a sudden it happened. And since then it's grown because now we have the city of Wichita to be able to take payments there. We have the DMV who actually comes there, who actually helps you get set to turn your driver's license from suspended to, you know, reinstated. So we have all these programs working together. So if you go in there and maybe spend an hour, you know, you can get your life turned all the way back around from being behind the eight ball. So, but as far as other places around the country, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything like it. I think that it would help out a lot if we did have something like that, because we've had kids who come up and say, "Hey, are you the Second Chance Thursday officers?" Because they know what's going on. You know, we try to hand out bears when we can. We try to do everything that we can to let everybody know that it's a safe place.
It's great.
How did the last one go at Coke?
The last one at Coke, I think we did, I don't want to say we did record numbers, but it was pretty high. I think it was the most driver's license that we've ever turned around in one day. And so that was actually a cool deal because we try to applaud, you know, when somebody gets their driver's license because they get all happy and run out of there. But, you know, the DMV isn't allowed to tell people that this is happening. So we're trying to get it figured out so that we can notify everybody and say congratulations, because it's a big step. It's a huge feat for some people. We talked to people who hadn't had their driver's license since they were 16 years old, and now they're now in their 30s. You know, so being able to do something that, you know, you probably didn't have a license when you first started, but now you have one. I mean, it's a huge builder, especially for the community.
If I could address, Officer Wider, larcenies, burglaries, stuff like that in our particular area of Illinois. I got her.
Whoa.
No,
No
it's
big
still,
incidences? Good.
nothing significant, nothing that's caught my attention anyway, that's anything out of the ordinary, so nothing big.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
You can go ahead and give your.
Well, while I'm here, Bill's gotta call me out. I'm Officer Widener, I'm north side, 49 beat, butts up to Park City, Valley Center, so I go very far north. For north side, I really only had one thing to kind of mention. We did have a shooting, the 500 block of West Meadow Creek. That was on the 17th of December. What I can gather is some kids driving past a gas station, might have been yelling some things they shouldn't been yelling to another group of kids that were in the parking lot. Followed these kids back to the house. An hour later, the house is shot up. And somebody is shot in the leg. So it was non-life threatening, but there was the shooting. As far as I know, I looked up the case today, still nothing on it, no suspects. All we have is the video from the gas station at this point, as far as I know. Another one I wanted to bring up, it's actually on 48 beat. It was shots fired yesterday around 16th and Garland. Apparently there was about 17 or so shell casings from what I heard from the officer today, located in the street. Nobody hit, nothing struck, but lots of shots fired, and all we have on that is some kind of white SUV, like an Escalade Tahoe type vehicle on that. So if anybody has any information or lives in that area, has cameras, help us out, because I guess that's been the second incident of shots being fired near that same intersection in about 2 months. So I don't know what's going on there, but I'm definitely going to bring it up to Officer Soto when he comes back tomorrow, that he might want to give some love to that area. And another, I'll bring this up all day, every day during the winter, warming up your vehicles. Don't warm up your vehicles if you don't have the remote start. Your car's going to end up getting stolen, things are going to be taken out of it. Tis the season for the time of that. So make sure you remind everybody, keep your cars locked if you're warming them up, have an extra key, something like that. Just safety measures for that. And I think that's all I have.
Questions?
I forgot to add one thing. In early December, we did Shop at the Cop. I think all three of us were there. That was all part of the Cops Care for Kids and the Wichita Police Foundation. So that was one of the things that they actually started with.
That was a fun time.
Oh, that was a great
Oh,
time.
it was a lot of fun. It was our first year, and I can say it was a lot of fun. I think all the officers, all the kids, it was a great event. There were citizens there just shopping. They're like, what are you guys doing? Why are you all here? And just to educate everybody, and everybody, I mean, I think some officers had people walking up to them, hey, can I give you this $50 gift card or 20 whatever to help with this? So it really ended up, for our first year, being a very good event.
And last, my name is Officer Diaz, Patrol South, 21 Bead, which is the Old Town area. They covered most of the things I was going to talk about, so all that we need to hit for my side of the Bureau is we did have a successful New Year's weekend down in the Old Town. It was pretty calm down there, very busy, but we didn't have any major incidents, just a couple little fights here and there. With some people getting arrested, but nothing major happened down there, so I call that a success there. The other thing we've been dealing with is a lot of, it's cold out, so we've got a lot of homeless out there putting up tents. Officer Nate couldn't be here. He gave me a little card. We have 5 shelters in Wichita, and I'm gonna go over them. Humankind for the men's is 841 North Market, so you can refer people to any of these places. That's a men's shelter only. The women's, there's only one women's shelter in Wichita, and it's at 930 North Market. It's also Humankind. And then we have Interfaith Inn, which is 320 East Central. Union Rescue Mission, which is 2800 North Hillside. And then the Salvation Army, which is 350 North Market. So any of those, I'll give this card, and you guys can maybe put it in the comment section. So if you do see someone, you can recommend them to go to one of these locations if they don't know where to go. Other than that, our HOT team is continuing to work with them, trying to get them into shelters. Unfortunately, a lot of times, some of these individuals don't want the help. They don't want to go to the shelter, or they don't want to follow the rules, so to be in the shelters. But we can always continue trying to assist them, and that's what they're out there doing, and try to educate the public on where they can tell people to go, because we do get calls from people asking where can they go. So I think it'd be good if we can get it in the comment section. So any questions for me?
Do you have a read on what the capacity of the shelters is right now?
Probably pretty full, but that would just be my guess. I don't know off firsthand there what their numbers are in each. And I'm sure each of them keep a number of how many daily intakes. I'm sure but I don't, and the HOT team may know that, but for department-wide, there's probably a select few that do know the answer to that. So, but I can check with Officer Nate and see if that's something that they get information on. And let you
When I
know.
understand because there's only one women's shelter, it fills up much faster.
Yes.
There's usually space for men. There's almost always space for men, but women, that becomes an issue.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it true? I remember a long time ago that the Interfaith Inn, which I know it's not called that anymore, was a family shelter. Is it still that, or is it been?
They do have some family shelters, facilities at Humankind Ministries now is what it's called.
Yeah.
They do have some family
Citywide, pretty quiet New Year's. You know, you said that in Old Town, but overall compared to previous.
Yeah,
years.
I mean, just the only thing that happened, that incident that Officer Williams talked about. But other than that, I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
I didn't see any, yeah, it's nothing, I didn't see anything come through for the actual New Year, so I think it was pretty quiet for the most part. So,
I think the cold helped a lot this year and the threat of the nasty weather. I think that probably.
Everybody wanted to get out, right?
Yeah. I was home in my jammies, I know that. Too cold.
Anything else for the officers?
thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
have a good night.
guys. Okay, I appreciate it. And library.
Well, hello, everybody. Good to see you all. We've got some exciting news from the library this month. We got a grant this last October from the Institute for Museum and Library Services, and the point of the grant is to collect people's COVID memories. The project is called Tell Your COVID Story. And so we're going to be taking submissions from community members about their lives and their experiences during the pandemic. They can submit like written memories or photographs or videos or what have you. And we'll have an online submission form on the library's website. And once we get all those stories compiled, we're going to upload that content to an online platform that people can access and learn more about. And of course, it's a new year, so hopefully everybody's got a TBR pile beside their bed or wherever you read the most. We have a new Read ICT Reading Challenge in partnership with Suzanne Perez of CAMUW. It's same as the past 6 years, 12 books, 12 different categories, 12 months. You can track your monthly progress online at wichitalibrary.org/readict. You can read regular books, you can read ebooks, you can listen to audiobooks, it all counts. And this year, categories include, because the categories change every year, the categories include a book by a debut author, a book that intimidates you, an immigration story, a genre blending book, and a book set at the sea or on the beach. So hopefully those topics will inspire you and invigorate your reading. If you're interested in learning about the past, we do have still some spots online for our Denise Neal and Classic Restaurants of Wichita program. That's going to be Saturday, January 22nd at 2:30 p.m. and it's going to be held on Zoom. She's going to share Wichita's rich history of eateries from her brand new book that just came out. And you can visit wichitalibrary.org/events to register for that. And this month, our Tuesday topics are going to be held as usual from noon to 1 p.m. And this year, Tuesday, January 25th, on Zoom, we're going to discuss political redistricting. Every 10 years following the census, Kansas state legislators draw their new political district boundaries that will remain in place for that next decade. And so they'll talk about how will district lines be drawn to ensure all voters are fairly represented. And the presenter will be WSU Professor Brian Amos. Again, you can register for those and other events at wichitalibrary.org/events.
Questions?
You got by me too fast on the classic eatery, Zoom meeting.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about that again. What's the date and time?
The date and time for that will be Saturday, January 22nd, 2:30 in the afternoon on Zoom. And it's Denise Neal of the Wichita Eagle. She has a brand new book out on classic restaurants of Wichita. So she will go over that with us and enrich us with the history and probably make us hungry.
Will the Zoom link be available off the library website?
Yeah, when you go in to register on the library website, we email you that link, and we usually do it fairly close to the day of so that you don't lose it, doesn't get lost in all your important emails.
I've heard her give that talk. It is very entertaining,
I bet it is.
very entertaining.
She's good. She's a great speaker.
Yeah, she really is.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate being here.
Thank you.
All right. And now that we have a quorum, let's do intros for, I know we don't have much of an audience tonight, but we do have people, I think, on Facebook. So, Mark, let's start with you. Name and neighborhood.
Mark Baker, Red Church.
Linda Kellogg, Orchard Park.
Angela Martinez,
Scott Lucas, I'm with Benjamin Hills Pleasant Valley.
Joe Washburn with Sherwood Glen.
And Zach Weaver with Brookside.
Thank you. All right, public agenda, we don't have any scheduled items. Terry, you here to speak on anything? All right, so Matt, you're on.
Good evening, everybody. Matt Williams with the Planning Department. We just have one case tonight. This is a request for a zone change from limited commercial to central business district. This is the building that includes the former Devon Luggage store. It's at 618 West Douglas. It looks vacant right now. The applicant doesn't specify what they want to do with the building, but usually when developers rezone to CBD down there, they're hoping to get by without the parking requirement that comes with limited commercial, and then also the setback requirements. So that helps them redevelop the building. This is within the Delano neighborhood plan area and the Delano overlay zoning district. So any future modifications to the building will have to go to the Delano Overlay Design Advisory Committee. The area is, a mix of commercial around there. Everything's zoned limited commercial, central business district, or limited industrial. It complies with all of our plans that we have, and I'd be happy to answer any questions about it.
What is the setback requirement in Old Town if it was still in place?
In Old Town or Delano?
Delano, I'm sorry.
Well, every zoning district has a different setback. So in Delano along Douglas, everything was built at a 0 setback because it's right on the property line. But limited commercial, I believe, has a 20-foot setback, which means, and it has a parking requirement of whatever it might be for the type of use. So if they go in there and they redevelop it and they do a certain amount of construction to the building, then they're required to meet the zoning standards. And so first off, that would mean that they have to meet that parking, on-site parking, and usually there's no parking on-site available. Yeah, there's nothing available, so they can't do that unless they tear down the next door building or something like that. Yeah.
Other questions?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Since applicant's not here, they haven't really seen why they can't be, why the current zone doesn't work for them. Is that unusual?
No,
This happened in other districts where they ask for change, but they don't get a reason why they need to change.
Oh, yeah, that is fairly common. A lot of the time, if I had to guess, in certain circumstances like this, they want to remodel the building and then have it ready to rent out. So they might not know what the uses are going to be that come in there, but they just want to be able to get it ready to market. Yeah.
They don't want to rent it and then figure out they can't meet the
Right.
the tenant, right?
Right.
Anything else?
Any other benefits for being a CBD instead of a limited commercial? Other than what you mentioned.
The main reasons people are doing it is for the parking requirement and to maintain that 0-foot setback that we like in the Delano.
You see it mainly kind of across the whole Douglas corridor, older.
Yeah. Actually, the Delano plan recommends that we rezone that whole thing to CBD to make it less of a hassle for people that are trying to develop the area. Yeah.
And just because I'm a little, let's say a little green, even though it's a lot green on this, the issue with parking that they're trying to avoid is the necessity of creating more availability for parking to keep it like it is.
Right.
So
The requirement.
as opposed to trying to get.
Yeah, the requirement would say, let's say, right now they're considered legal non-conforming. They're grandfathered in because it's been there so long. If you do a certain amount of construction to the building, then you're required to meet the current standards. And so, if they put back the office that was in there before, and it requires 1 parking space, per X amount of feet, they have to have 10 parking spaces on site. They might not even have room behind their building for 10 parking spaces. So they wouldn't be able to develop it, basically.
And so that's just kind of a condition of Plano in general right now.
Right.
Regarding, because it's just how it is.
Right. That's why the planning department's supportive of it in the area, because we want to maintain that walkability, not have to tear down buildings for more parking, things like that.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And, you know, basically a block to the south of this is going to be the multimodal parking facility. There's going to be quite a bit of parking in that area.
Hey, do you have anything?
Yeah.
Is there restrictions on what kind of a business can go in there?
Yeah, every zoning district has restrictions on what types of businesses can be there. You know, so there's a little bit different for CBD versus limited commercial. But not a ton. You know, you're not going to have industrial uses or general commercial uses like a gas station. And I don't have that list right with me, but there are a few different uses available. Oh, yep, we've got a chart right here. Can you hand me that? I can summarize it real quick. So I mean, this list has, you know, dozens and dozens of things you could do with it. Yeah, and you can definitely take a look. So if you look at the column labeled CBD at the top, and then kind of everything with a P in it, that means it's permitted. You know, most things are going to be the same. I'm sure there's a few additional things. It's kind of just about finding what those might be.
C means what?
C means conditional use. They would have to go through a special process to do it.
I guess if you're gonna put L toward them, then you need to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
All right, I'll bring it back to the board for more discussion or questions or a motion.
I'd second the motion.
So we have a motion for approval. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Thank
Thank
ma'am.
you.
All right.
You got the easy one.
All right. Any updates? That's right. Any updates, issues, or reports from neighborhoods? What's that?
Cold.
Yeah.
That's right. How did, I can't remember which one of you has this. Is the rep here that would have had the walk through the old houses? I forget what it was.
No.
Not here in
Midtown.
Midtown.
Yeah, not here.
Midtown.
They had that a long time ago, because I asked her about it.
They had it like
We
in,
were in there.
had it like in October, right?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
early, yeah.
I didn't hear the results though. Did she say it went
Yeah, she
well?
said it really well, yeah.
I saw pictures. I follow their Midtown Facebook page, and I saw pictures. It looks like it was well attended.
Good. All right. Well, next meeting is February 7th, 6:30 PM. So this is my last meeting. It has been a pleasure to serve with all of you. And I thank you for your service. A lot of people don't understand what district advisory boards do and the studying you have to do to understand zoning cases and make good recommendations to city council. So I really appreciate the work that you guys have done on that. And it's been nice to meet all of you. Some of you I didn't know before I started on this, and so thank you for that. So I think with that, unless there's anything else.
Well, I think from my seat in the park, it's the same. We appreciate your service and everything you've provided to our community over the past few years.
It's an opportunity to learn.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding.
Seconded. And I would also like to shout out, I really appreciated your clear capability in terms of understanding the city and how it works. And I am positive that we disagree on most things, but I have always considered your approach really even-handed and genuine. And so thank you for your service as a councilman.
I knew that when I selected you. You would remember, right? So I like to have people that likes me. All right.
That's scary. I wonder why she selected the rest of us.
Cindy, you're gonna prop your feet out?
Well, a little bit, but I still have things I'll be involved in, so I'm not getting a job. I am really retired, so.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you all this evening, and we are adjourned.